Hey kids, Sarah Cray here, and we are painting insects. And today we are painting the honeybee. Maybe a bzzz. And filming, we have Michael here with us. That's the voice you'll hear. He has facts. He tells me where to look. He's also my husband, so I kind of like him. We are going to do this honeybee in 3 steps. So our very first step we are going to do the yellow sections. So that's going to include the stripes down here, this like fuzzy part on their body and their wings. Second step, we are going to do the black section. So the black stripes and then the legs and the arms and the head. And our very third step, if you're feeling up to it.
Our very third step.
It's very third. I meant very last, and then also third step. That's how that happened. Is just doing the details on the wings. However, I would like to say that you are free to leave that step off if you're having trouble getting thin lines, and I'll go through all that fun stuff with you. So before we get to painting, let's take our oath. So if you can raise your right hand and repeat after me. I promise to be kind to myself.
I promise to be kind to myself.
I promise not to compare my work.
I promise not to compare my work.
And I promise to have fun.
I promise to have fun.
And I like to start that way because that is really what painting is all about. Just having fun and exploring. It's not about being the best. And when you start to compare your work with yourself or with others, that's where you take out all the joy. And we are all about joy here, I feel. We have a good time. I mean, I have a good time.
Sometimes.
Okay. So the colors that I'm mainly going to be using are yellow and black. I'll probably use a little bit of this tan color here. You can see on my yellow that it's dirty from the last time I painted. To get that cleaned up, all I'm going to do is take some water, put it on the top of the paint, mix my brush on there to kind of like rub it off, take my paper towel and lift, and now it's nice and clean. So for the fuzzy part, I'm grabbing some yellow, I'm grabbing some of this tan. And I'm just going to start in the center, kind of just like doing little brush marks, and then I'm going to grab water and use water to spread out the color to the outline. Now the thing with watercolor that you have to remember, and why I love it so very much, is that you have to think of water as if it's almost a paint, like a paint color a little bit. So it helps the color spread, it helps you get lighter values of the color. So don't use it just for cleaning your brush. And then I'm going to take some yellow, and I'm going to start off with this big section right here. And I'm just using pure yellow for this. And then I'm going to take that tan, or you can grab orange, whatever color you want. And I'm going to go on the sides. Kind of blend it to the middle. And what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to create a value change to show that this bee is dimensional. So if we have a highlighted top and the color is a darker value on the sides, that shows that this is a round body. So because this body is round, if the light source is coming here, that top part is going to be highlighted, and as that body turns away and rounds away from us, it's going to be a darker value. So that's why what I'm trying to communicate here.
Sarah.
Yes.
The internet says that a single honeybee produces 1/12 of a teaspoon of honey in its life.
Oh, that's so little. Man, they gotta work. There are a lot of bees to make all of that.
It says there's 60 to 90,000 bees per hive.
Whoa. That's a lot. That's a lot. I also feel like bees are in danger right now.
Well,
isn't that true?
Yeah, I think so. This website also says that honey tastes better than honeybees. In case you're curious how bees taste.
They're like, listen, we tested this for you. We just wanted...
The honey's better than the bee.
They're like, don't eat the bee. Okay, now we're going to paint our wings, and we are going to paint like the top edge first and then just add water. The reason why we're doing that is because insect wings are transparent, and so we want to make sure these wings feel like you can see through them, and we do that by using very little color. If we were to use like a really dark color on the wings, it would make them feel more solid. And even though they are solid, you can still see through them. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to grab a little bit of this tan and a little bit of this yellow, and I'm going to go along just the ridge right here. And then I'm just going to use some water to spread out that color. Does that color now like a barely there color? Yes, but that's okay. That's kind of what we want. We want these to be very, very light. And then I did the top ridge on that second wing too. Now, if you want to add a little bit of this darker brown on the top ridge here to get a nice dark value right on the ridge, you are welcome to. Okay. Same thing on the other side. Now we have two wings here. The second wing, and you might have seen me do it when I did the first, is I painted this entire area with water. So if I were to go in and try and do this detail line right now, it's going to blend out, which is kind of what happened here, which is not a huge deal. But if you want your line to stay nice and sharp, then you would want to wait for this area to be dry before you go in and put in that line. So I'm going to wait just so you guys can see the difference, since I already painted that one while it's wet, and you have that to look at. Now we're going to move on to step 2. We are going to do the black sections. So I'm just going to grab some black. And I'm going to start at the top of my head, and essentially I'm just kind of filling in the spaces here, kind of working my way around the fuzzies. Now for the antennas, I'm going to try and get a super thin line. So if you look at our rounds here, that tip of the brush is going to have like just a few little hairs that poke out to make a tip. So I'm going to hold my paintbrush almost straight up and down and very, very lightly follow the shape of my antennas. As light as I can go. Like that.
You know all worker bees are girls?
Really?
The only boy bees in a hive are called drones.
Uh-huh.
And there's like very, very few of them. They have no stingers and they don't do anything except, you know, boy things.
For the queen?
Yeah.
I did not know that actually. And again, I shouldn't say and again because I didn't mention this before, but you can see on the legs, I left some little sections white. And the reason for that is because I'm trying to communicate that there is a glare. And these insect legs are kind of, I feel like they're made out of like hard shelly material, and that's why there's a glare.
Chitin.
Chitin. So they're made out of chitin, which is why that there is a shine on it because it's hard. Where if you think of like this fuzzy part on their body, which is hair, there wouldn't be like white glares on it because it's soft. Does that make sense? Okay, you can see here that I have these two legs where some of it comes a little bit underneath the wing. And what I'm going to do to show that the leg is coming out from underneath the wing is it's still black, but we're seeing that part of the black leg through the wing. And so to try and communicate that it's not on top of the wing, it's underneath the wing, we just still see a section of it because the wing is transparent, is we just make it a lighter black. So we're just going to add a little bit of water. And now it looks like, okay, yeah, I can still see that something is there, but the wing is transparent. So that's still playing off of us trying to communicate that wings are transparent while also communicating that there is a leg. Okay, now I'm just going to do the black parts on the stripe. And this one, I'm just going to paint the sides black, and then I'll go in with just water and blend in the middle to try and make the middle a lighter value, so it feels round. So I painted the sides. Now I'm just going to rinse my brush, and using just water, I'm going to connect them. And if you need to like kind of darken some of your edges again, there's nothing wrong with that. And also, this is your world that you're painting, so maybe you want your bee to be a different color. You have every right to do that. Don't feel like you can't. Okay. Okay, that was step 2. Now, our very last step is just doing a little bit of details. I'm going to put in some little shadows on the fur and then our lines on our wings. So for the fur, I'm going to grab this tan color and I'm just going to do a few little, maybe a little bit darker brown to get it nice and dark. A few little dashes coming out from the center, kind of like a flower, and then a few among the sides. Just a few, just like here's some and here's some and here's some. Not going too crazy.
Your little fur patch just reminds me of like a fur jacket, and I just think of Cruella de Vil.
These little bees.
Little Cruella de Vil bees.
That's funny. Okay, now we're going to do the lines on our wings. Now I didn't include the lines on the outline because I want you guys to have fun with this. This is another way where you can kind of let your imagination play. Maybe you write words on the wings, or maybe there's even a picture going on in the wings. You guys get to decide. I just realized I didn't do the top of this wing, so I'm going to do that really quick. Okay, there we go. Now, it is really hard to get a super thin line with this paintbrush. So if you want to try to use your paintbrush to do this line work, you can. Or if you have a pen handy, a pen might be easier to use. So if you want to use a black pen instead, that would work. You can use a black pen or a gray pen, or even like if you have a marker that has a nice little tip on it. I'm going to try and use my paintbrush, but I'm just going to kind of go along and add. So I'm barely touching my paper to it. I'm just adding, I'm calling these veins. Is that the right word?
Yeah.
Just adding little veins, because if you look close up at the wings of bees, they have lots more than what I'm doing here. That's it. That's our little bee. I would like to say that there is no background on this little bee, so if you want to add a background, please feel free to. Maybe he's on a flower, or she, because the she ones are the ones that go out, right? You can add different colors, you can do thought bubbles, really play with this. This is just a fun time for you. So if you painted this and you would like to share it, you can ask a grown-up for help. And if they have Instagram or Facebook, they can share it with us. Instagram, you tag us at Let's Go Make Art or hashtag Let's Make Art. Facebook, we have, you can tag us at Let's Go Make Art on Facebook. We also have a Facebook watercoloring group called Let's Make Art Watercolor. I think that's all I gotta say. If you need any of these supplies, you can find them at letsmakeart.com. That's all. Bye, you guys.